I want to talk to you about weapons of mass destruction. It's ironic that today has been a day of warfare. Today has been a day of warfare, and it being a day of warfare, it's very important that we find out what our weapons of mass destruction are. Every country that's considered a superpower has weapons of mass destruction. Every country that is not a superpower, that wants to be a superpower, is trying to construct weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction are the weapons that do the most damage to the most area. Amen. So they do the most damage to the most area. There are three that we're going to talk about today, specifically. There are three we're going to speak about. I'm just going to start by reading the Word of God, and we can see what's going to come out of there. It says, Joshua, turn your Bible to Joshua chapter 6. Oh, yes. Joshua chapter 6. If you don't want to turn in your Bible, or you can look, if you don't have your Bible, you can look on the screen. It's also there. It's also on the screen. When you have to say amen, if you need time, say mercy. Amen. Well, even if you need mercy, it's on the screen. Joshua chapter 6. Now Jericho was tightly shut up because of the Israelites. No one went out, and no one came in. Then the Lord said to Joshua, see. Then the Lord said to Joshua, see. Then the Lord said to Joshua, see, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its king and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. And on the 7th day, march around the city 7 times with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them, sound a long blast on the trumpets. Have all the people give a loud shout. Then the wall of the city will collapse, and the people will go up, every man straight in. And we skip down to verse 15. And on the 7th day, they got up at daybreak and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner. Except that on that day, they circled the city 7 times. The 7th time around, when the priest sounded the trumpet blast, Joshua commanded the people, shout, 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 for the Lord has given you the city. The Lord has given you the city. He said, and the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given you the land. Arrow back. Just push the arrow. It'll take you back. I want to leave that on the screen for a while. Arrow back. Again. Again. Yes. The Lord said to Joshua, see. See is capital. See is underlined. The first weapon of mass destruction that you have in your arsenal is your ability to see. Now the Lord didn't just say, Joshua, I'm going to give you the land. He said, see, I have delivered Jericho in your hands. Many times in our lives, we are in chains. We are bound. We are perishing, as the scripture says, because where there is no vision, the people perish. Because they cannot see, they cannot be. Many times we are bound, and our blessings are bound and kept from us. They're in walled cities, and the thing that's keeping us from reaching the destiny that God has for us is because we cannot see it. We go by what we see. We don't see how God's going to work our marriage out. We don't see how God is going to bring us out of the situation we've been in for 50-some odd years. We don't see how God is going to restore our marriages. We don't see how God is going to bring our children out. Because we cannot see, we are perishing. The very first command that God gave to Joshua concerning his destiny was that you have to see. How do you see into your destiny? The very first weapon of mass destruction that you possess is your faith. For the Bible says we walk by faith and not by what our physical eye can see. So there are some things you have to see with your faith that your physical eyes can't see. There are times you will have to see yourself coming out of situations that your physical eye can't see your way out of. There are certain valleys that mountains are so high that you can't see your way out of the valley. So you have to, by faith, see yourself out of the valley. There are certain situations that are meant for your destruction, but when you through your faith begin to see, the possibilities to you will be endless. The very first spiritual weapon of mass destruction is the fact that those of us who have been slated for destiny and victory have faith that brings forth sight. Jesus said, "Let there be light." He said it, and then he saw it. But his faith had to see it as light before he could even see it in the physical. In fact, it didn't even exist. The name for it didn't even exist. He had to create a name, then say be that, and it was. There's some blessings you got waiting on you that folk ain't even named it. They ain't never seen nothing like that. But until you see it, you'll never achieve it. You'll never achieve it until you see what God has for you. You've got to see God's plan for your life. And you've got to see yourself accomplishing it. We don't have insight because we don't have foresight. You often heard it say, if I knew then what I know now. Well, can I tell you that there's a God that knows the beginning from the end? And he does know now what you need to know now. So you don't have to say, I wish I knew. He knows. And he can reveal it. He can tell you. He can bring you out of everything that's trying to keep you bound. He can fix it. Can fix any situation. You might not be able to see your way out, but minister, he sees your way out. He sees you in the future, and you look better than you do today. He sees. He has utmost confidence. So it comes down to what you can see. When we talk about this weapon of mass destruction, our faith, our belief, you act differently in the dark than you do in the light. When you're in the dark, you're groping for things. You really don't have a direction. You're just trying to use your hands to feel. And that's what people who are like don't have faith. They only depend on what's tangible, what they can touch. But if the light ever comes on, if I turn the lights out on here right now and try to walk out here and all, it'll be a little difficult to find my way out with it. But when the light comes on, it's a whole lot easier to see. See, the honest truth about this situation is that you act out what you believe. You tell me what you're doing, I'll tell me what you believe. You tell me what you're struggling with, and I'll tell you where your belief is. What do you believe about God? Your greatest weapon of mass destruction, and the first one on the list is your faith, your belief. What do you believe? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your children? Because your belief will affect your ability to see. When Jesus healed the blind man, what did he say? He said, your faith made you whole. He said, your faith lets you see. Well, every time Jesus said to the man, to any person that he healed, he said, rise up and walk. Their faith had to connect with that. They had to believe that because he said that they could do it. But most Christians have that disconnect. You wonder why you're still in bondage. You wonder why you're still in fetters and chains. You wonder why you still can't get up and walk out of the situation. Yeah, he left you, but you wonder why you're sitting at home. It's 2-3 years later and you're still crying. And you don't know why. You can't get over it. You're still in a holding pattern. You 2-3 kids down the line and you can't figure out how you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how to get out of the situation, and you wonder why life seems to be of such low quality. I'll tell you why. I can tell you, based on where you are, what you believe. You have to believe that when God says it, you can do it. And that's what this particular text in Joshua 6 is bringing out. Your weapon of mass destruction is your faith. What you believe, and it becomes ineffective when you don't have the correct belief system. When God says you can do something, you can do something. Switch to the next verse. He said, and when you hear the sound of the long blast on the trumpets, have all the people give a loud shout. Then the wall of the city will collapse and the people will go up, every man straight in. Now God is still talking to Joshua. He's still telling him what's going to happen. He said, he said, first of all, see it. Then once you see it, once you can see it, look, let me paint the picture for you. This is how it's going to come out. This is how it's going to come out. Next verse. On the seventh day, they got up at daybreak and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner, except that on that day, they circled the city 7 times. And this is back to what God told Joshua was going to happen. Now he's on the 7th day, and watch what happens. He said the city 7 times in the same manner, except that on that day, they circled the city 7 times. And the 7th time around, when the priest sounded the trumpets blast, Joshua commanded the people to shout, for the Lord has given you the city. Now he has said what God has said. When you say what God says, then you'll see what God sees. When you say, this is still faith, we're still in the first weapon of mass destruction. What you believe will be constituted by what you do. When you do believe, you'll say what you believe. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, does the mouth speak. From your heart comes out what you believe. If you keep talking about your relationship ain't going to make it, I guarantee you won't make it. If you keep talking about you don't know what's going to happen with your kids, guess what? You ain't going to never know. You'll be watching it instead of being a part of their destiny. You'll be watching the devil come in and run rush out all over them. What are you saying about the situation? What's coming out of your mouth? What did God say? When you say what God say, that's what is important. The Bible said that faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. You cannot arm. Have you ever seen a weapon that doesn't have any bullets? It's a bad weapon. But I'm going to tell you the worst weapon you can see. And this is what I see in many Christians. You got ammunition, you got the weapon, but you don't know how to rack and slide. There's nothing in the chamber. You keep pulling the trigger, ain't nothing coming out because you never activated your faith. You never activated your faith. You have never activated your faith. We need to activate our faith. How do you activate your faith? You've got to say what you believe. If you say it long enough, you'll believe it. You ever, my mom used to say, you make a good lawyer, you're a good liar. You believe your own lie. You said, folk that lie believe themselves because they say it so much that they forget that they lie. You need to do that way about the truth. You need to say it so much that you believe it.